and welcome. My name is Steven, and for this video we'll be going over how to implement a 3ds Max model or FBX into Substance and baking out some materials to allow for easier texturing. You will require your own model before continuing, and now let's begin. Now, the way I like to start for texturing inside of Substance is to make sure each one of my items of the model is separated into its own object. This will come in quite handy later on. Note that Substance is a texturing program and not a unwrap program, so you will require to unwrap your own models before exporting them. With this model, I have 3 different materials, one for the wheels, body, and crate, as well as 3 unwraps. This will allow for different amounts of texture density, and in doing so, we'll create 3 texture sets inside of Substance, which we will see soon. Take into consideration, however, that this can be done with 1 material and 1 unwrap, and does not need to be done this way. It is just the way I like to work. Once you have your model unwrapped and at the origin 0, 0, 0, we will select everything that we want to export, and then go to File, Export, Export Selected. I've already done this. I will overwrite it. You will want to save it as a FBX, possibly OBJ. Hit Save. Once that is done, we will hop into Substance and begin the next steps. Once in Substance, you'll want to create a new file. Go to File, New. In this window, you'll see several different options. The first one being your template, which there are several to choose from. I like to work in the PBR spec gloss, so I'll be selecting that one. However, you can choose whichever one best suits your needs. Next option is the mesh. As you can see, there's no mesh selected, so we will click on Select, navigate to where you have saved your FBX or OBJ, click Open, and it will now be selected. The next thing I like to do is change the resolution. I generally work in 2048 or higher, but you can lower or raise that as you need. You can also import any maps that you have already baked out. I will not be doing this. Once you're all done that, click the OK button, and now you can see your model inside of Substance. Up here in the top right are the texture sets I was mentioning earlier, which are for the body, the crate, and the wheels. These little ticks will allow me to turn on or off these meshes as I need. So we'll start with the wheels. Now, to bake the textures, we want to go under the Texture Set settings. Click on Bake Textures, and up here, change the output size to roughly the same size as your file size. Next, I'd like to do is go to ID, click on Color Source drop down, and Mesh ID. This is where having separate objects comes in handy. So we'll click Mesh ID, and then we'll click Random Color. We want to make sure that this applies to each one of our texture sets, so we will click Apply to All. That is generally all I change in here, but you can adjust these settings as you require. Now that that's done, we'll click Bake All Textures, and we will be back once that is done. Alright, once all your maps have been baked out, you can see that they've been implemented already into their correct locations. So you have your thickness, position, curvature, ambient occlusion, your ID map, which is by far the most important for this video, your world space normal, and your regular normal. Now, the ID will only work if your model is separated into different objects, like I was showing earlier. So we'll start with the wheels, and then we'll go to Folder, add a new folder, and then we'll go to Add a Mask, which is the square with the little circle cut out. Click that, go add mask with color selection, and then this will pop up. What we want is this pick color. And you can see that it brings in this ID mask, which is crucial for doing this. So we go here, and you can see that the tires have changed colors. You got this purple, blue, and brown. So we'll click on the brown, and now any material that we add to this folder will only affect the color of the mask. So if we want this rubber tire, for instance, we'll go click and drag it onto the folder, it'll load, and now we have tires. Now for instance, if we were to take off this mask by going remove mask, you will see that the rubber material affects the whole model. We'll Control Z and undo that, and then we can do, well, add another folder, and yet again add mask with color selection, and we'll go pick color, and we'll pick this purple, and maybe we want both the hubcap and that little detail to be the same material, so we'll go add the second color. So let's say maybe we wanted this steel rust, for instance. We go add to this folder too, it'll load, and as it's loading, once it's finished, you can see that that material has now been applied to both objects. Now maybe I don't really like how that looks, so I'll go back to this color selection, and maybe I just want it on this part, this round detail here, which is that purple, so we'll remove the light blue. Now you can see it's only affecting that. And while we're at it, let's add a third folder, click the mask again, and add another color mask. We'll pick the color and pick the blue. Now maybe we just want something simple. Maybe just do this painted metal, steel painted. Go add that, it'll load, and now we have that. And of course, all these materials can be changed inside of each folder. You can change the base color, the rust, whatever you really need. Now, say you're done texturing, and you want to export. You go File, Export Textures, and this window will pop up. Click on this, and choose the location you want to save them to. And then you can click on these checkboxes to select which material you want to output, as well as the size you want to output it as. I'm not going to be doing that for now, and we'll go back to this. And as you can see, we now have some textured tires. And that is the basis of what you need to know for starting texturing inside of Substance. Thank you for joining me. See you later.